Deadair Hardcore Radio, exploring the world's best hardcore punk and all the various subgenres. For the next 2 hours we will enter a world apart from the rest. The time is now.
Stand to the side, be right the hardcore ride! How can you save me when you can't save yourself? Ready to fight!
Yo, what's up with that? Let's start jamming.
Welcome to the future of 2020. Episode 76 of Dead Air underway, the first episode of the new decade. Welcome to the 2020s. I was very hopeful, and then last Friday came along, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna make this year my year. I said that same thing in 2018, and then I got fucking jumped by some idiots in a fucking quote unquote hardcore crew who didn't really jump me. They just stole my shit and ran off because they couldn't get me to the ground. But also that, and then I lost my fucking job and was almost homeless. So every time I'm like, oh, this is gonna be my year. This still can be, but then when I mean, I shouldn't be surprised that there's a possibility of another war, because there's always, with our country, a possibility of another war. But I don't want to get too political. So I was like, that was just like, I think I was just like looking at the world at rose-tinted glasses, like, oh man, new decade, new me. This is my 30s. I gotta make the fucking most of it before I'm old and I fucking die. And then literally just things fucking blew up. That was pretty dark, but yeah, I'm not about it. So unfortunately, this would have been episode 78, but I got fucking sick as fuck. I always say that I'm not gonna skip, and then life has another plan for me. My entire house got sick, and most of the people in my house got sick twice, and I've been pretty immune. I don't get sick that often, so lucky I only got sick once. And unfortunately, because I don't have the fucking sick time to cover it in my jobs, I had to work through it. And then I had a couple days off for the holidays, and I made the fucking holidays happen. I got my kid a Switch and saved the fucking day and had a good holidays, even though she got sick on Christmas. So we literally, after Christmas dinner, and my parents had to take her home. So that's fucking, it was so rough. And she was sick pretty much the entire 2 weeks that she was on Christmas break. And that was a fucking bummer. And I felt so bad. So now it's this time of year where I'm just like catching up on fucking bills, because that stuff sucks. So we have a new episode. We're finally back. I'm glad to be back and get this shit underway. This week we have City of Industry from Seattle. They're going to be chatting with me, hanging out, talking hardcore, talking Seattle, and then they're going to play a few songs live. It's our first live set that we've done in a very long time. So I am extremely excited about that. I'm going to talk a little Star Wars, because I finally finished The Mandalorian and saw Rise of Skywalker. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that later on in the show. But first, before we get to our interview, we're going to go straight to it, but we're going to play a track from Black Breath. For those who didn't know, Elijah Nelson, the bassist for the group, passed away just right before the end of the year, I believe. He passed away on the 31st. So it was a big bummer. He was a huge staple in just not only the music community. It wasn't somebody I knew too well, but but everybody who I work in the Capitol Hill area of Seattle, so he's a big just staple in the industry up there, as well as just music in general. Black Breath has been huge for punk, metal, hardcore adjacent, since their styles all blend. For those who haven't listened to them, I know there's been a lot who, it sucks that it happens that way, but with a death, sometimes it brings new people that didn't know the band. And it's not that I don't know if the band is gonna quit or anything. I don't think it is, but it's I'm just celebrate the life, he was an important part of Seattle, and support Seattle musicians if you're from Seattle. So there's going to be a memorial pretty soon for Nelson. So if you're a friend and you didn't know this was happening, go check it out. There's plenty of info on it. I know my boss was a really close friend of Elijah. So lots of thoughts and prayers. I'm not religious, but I like to say prayers because I like to send those prayers just out to the universe with hopes of just healing of for anyone who's in pain right now over this loss. So we're going to play a track from Black Breath. We're gonna play Eat the Witch right now, and then we're gonna get to our little interview in just a few minutes. You're listening to Dead Air Hardcore Radio now in 2020. Okay, so we finally made it to 2020, and I believe it was last year at the beginning of 2019. We had local Seattle band FCon in the studio, and I want to just keep it a tradition of having like local like bands from the Pacific Northwest to start off our year. Specifically this year, just because it's a beginning of a new decade and a new year, and just like I want to promote just like local unity within just like the Northwest and just like local music in general, because it's something that I haven't seen in a long time, and there's just so many. I've seen a lot of bands, and this is a great example of a band that is a part of Seattle and a part of hardcore punk, and I just feel like there's a lot of bands like this that are just they're all over the place, and I miss a time where everyone was all together and one like local scene. So I want to see that for this upcoming year and decade. So we're starting this off with Seattle band City of Industry. What's up, guys?
Hi.
Hey.
Hello.
Let's do the introductions. Name and what you do in the band. I don't care who starts.
I'm Jack. I play bass.
Hi, Jack. I'm Osa. I'm vocals and guitar.
And I am Pablo. I play the drums.
So let's start it off. Where'd the band name come from?
It's kind of a name I held on to for a while. I grew up in a city called Whittier in southeast LA County, and right next door is a city called City of Industry. Sometimes shorten it Industry, but it always kind of stuck with me.
I like it. I don't know. It also just kind of just speaks to just the hustle and bustle of any city, of like just because like you're not originally from Seattle, but like Seattle like is always trying to hold on to art, like, and is being always overtaken by industry and tech people and bullshit. Like, so I like coming from this place. I think it's applicable to a lot of places in the world.
Definitely.
Yeah, most definitely.
Especially places such as Seattle that are trying desperately to keep art alive and sometimes get knocked down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or push south.
Especially these last few years, it's been pretty crazy with Amazon coming in and venues closing, and yeah, it's a tough time.
And it's rough. So as someone who has moved in, migrated over the past few years, such as who here is originally from Seattle? Okay, so you're
Jack.
Jack's from Seattle.
Jack.
All right. So who? So where do you? So Osa's come from California, and then where do you come from?
I've been here for 16 years.
Oh, okay. So that counts. I count you as a local, pretty
Yeah,
much.
I consider myself a Seattleite at this point. But I was born in Mexico, and I transplanted over to the U.S. when I was 8.
But like, I would say a lot of transplants have come in the last like 5 to 10 years from Seattle, and it's just changed the landscape. No offense.
No, I feel entitled to talk shit about some of the changes because I've been here long enough.
Yeah.
Just basically because I spent my adolescence here and like my teen years and like really the years that shaped me. So I kind of I feel that what Seattle used to be and what it's become, I've seen the difference and the change. Some good, some bad.
So let's get a little bit into the background of the band and just like how you guys got together and started this group.
I was working in a kitchen with Jack over here. Had a lot of bands in common that we liked, and a lot of bands we didn't have in common. And made for good conversations, and we ended up just jamming. I had some stuff that I was holding on to, and kind of just snowballed from there. It's kind of like an experiment for like a little 5-minute EP we put out in 2017, I believe, and then Pablo joined the company about last year, right?
Yep.
Or this year,
Last year.
or last
Well,
2019.
last year,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's been going good.
And so you guys started roughly like 2000. You said 2017.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's like basically as a hardcore band, you started post Rainfest and post like
Yeah.
which has been an extremely weird time in for just like hardcore music in general. Like nothing I feel like in the Pacific Northwest has been consistent whatsoever. So I guess now's your time to. So what's it been like playing shows just around the Pacific Northwest for you guys?
It's been fun. We've had a lot of cool shows. I have noticed, and I think Jack probably noticed too, that like me personally, I consider us a hardcore band, but there's a lot of those other hardcore bands out there who don't. I guess we play with a lot of non-hardcore bands. I've noticed that a lot of more grindy bands or straight punk bands or like D-beat kind of crust bands. I don't really see that many hardcore shows going on. There are, but
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's hard to find. We hardly ever put together a bill where it's like everyone is right in line with the same kind of music. A lot of mixed bills kind of going on.
Yeah, a lot of my friends, like I work up in Capitol Hill, so like most of my friends that do music, it's cool, but it's hard, it's just hard to navigate. Like I think it's really, really cool that everyone's doing like eclectic and different sounds, but it also makes it hard for people. It also makes it hard to discover through certain lanes these bands. Like
Yeah, exactly.
the reason, like mainly some of the reasons that I know some of these bands is because they're my friends, not because like without that and because they talk to me through my radio show. If it wasn't for some of those avenues, I wouldn't be able to. Like there used to be a time where there were tons of shows and like all over Tacoma and Seattle where the bands, I don't know, connected a little bit better. They were different, but they were all in the same. There was all like kind of a singular mindset with different sounds, and it was able to connect people to different groups of people, different venues, and different bands, which is like how a scene thrives instead of all these separate little areas and inconsistent places. Like there's been so many places over the last 3 years, like where I've only been like to that venue one time because that's the only time that venue did a show, because they did it one time. And it's just like I said, the consistency is super, super like weird with the city of Seattle. And that's something I want to change.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, we need more consistent venues would be great. I feel like so many have shut down in the recent years, and it kind of, I think that helped to kind of compartmentalize the scene, because we just have these little spots here and there, like you said, like one-time shows, and there's only a few of those like home venues, right? The Kraken or the Plaid Pig. Shouts out Plaid Pig.
Yeah.
I think that's definitely contributed to a bit of the break apart that you're talking about.
And they're all good. And one thing it's been a thing for, I've talked with Seattle bands nonstop, is it's hard to keep all ages alive. Like I've seen a lot of like what's kept any bands afloat and going over the last 3 years is playing at 21 up venues, because that's where Seattle that's where most Seattle and Tacoma people go. That's the
Right.
that's the watering hole. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it's not inclusive to young aspiring musicians whatsoever. So it keeps them separate to places like Luigi's and Fife, where it's like that is like not where I want to see hardcore kids.
Right. Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah.
There is Real Art is a really cool place.
It is, and it's growing, and
It is.
It's been a working process. So, and there's some really cool shit. Like just within the next few months, there's going to be some cool shows just all around Seattle and Tacoma, which I'm really, really excited for.
Yeah.
So let's get back into the band. Specifically on the hardcore sound, your sound differs probably from, I would say, any other hardcore punk adjacent or metal band in the Pacific Northwest. It really reminds me of bands like Modern Life is War and Hope Conspiracy. Those are the two that, like, the first time I listened, I heard like Hope Con style vocals versus the Modern Life is War style kind of sensibility. So where does your specific influences come from? Musically,
I'm kind of all over the board as far as like the songs and stuff. I grew up listening to a lot of punk. Once I got into hardcore, like in high school, it kind of changed because things just splinter out from there. Everything from like Ceremony is a huge influence on me. That was like one of the first few shows I went to in like 06, 07 in California, all the way to like Fucked Up. That's like probably one of my all-time favorite bands. And a lot of people don't really think of them as a hardcore band, but I do, and I love them for that.
yeah, for me, I think of them as a hardcore band. It's just, I don't know. So that was one of my. So I did an episode a few weeks ago where people wanted me to do like a somewhat of a review show on just like just give me records that I haven't really given a chance over the last 10 years. And I picked apart some of them, and one of them was I believe it was the 2010 or 2011 Fucked Up release. It was like
David Comes to Life?
Yeah, David Comes
Okay.
to Life. That was the one. That was like the overwhelming one that people wanted me to give an honest review. And
It's a weird one.
so I listened to it. Like, for those who listen to the show, they know that I work security, so I work pretty late. So I'm coming home pretty late between the hours of anywhere between 4 and 8 a.m. And so I put on I made a playlist full of all those records that they told me to check out, and I almost fucking like it. I have to be in a right mindset to listen to that specific record because I can't. It's hard to just absorb specifically what's going on with it. I can appreciate the fact that it's different, but I don't know what I can't say it whether it's bad or good. It's just it is what it is, and I really have to be in some. It has to be a specific time and place for me to really, I don't know, get it and pick apart what's going on.
Yeah, it's so long and there's so many songs, and it was made as a concept album. Like the whole album tells a story, and I've listened to it all the way through. But you know, it as a whole is a piece of art. But if I'm trying to listen to Fucked Up, I have my 10, 15 songs from that album already picked out. Like, okay, I'm going to skip all these interludes and dialogue exchange, like, all that kind of filler kind of stuff. But it's a good album. It's a great album.
And at the time, I think there was just like so many bands, like just like between the end of right going into the 2010s that were extremely melodic and that was just like the last gasp before that style of music took like a 7 or 8 year break, and now you're starting to see some more melodic bands again. So I think I just had more than I could handle. Not necessarily that it was bad. It's just like with heavy bands right now. Like there's so many fucking mosh bands.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
I can't like. There's some I just like, I'm going to put this away for a later day. I can't say it's bad or good. It just can't. I think the new Division of Mind on Triple B came out, and I was listening to that. I was like, everybody's calling it really good. It's like, man, right now, all I hear is just breakdowns. I just hear chug, chug, chug. And I can just envision people beating the shit out of each other, but nothing past that. I love this style of music. I love most styles of hardcore, but it just it takes a certain thing, and I really dig specifically what you guys are doing, because it's just like I said, it's different from what's going on currently in Northwest music, and I think you guys really stand out for what you're doing.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, man.
So let's what's been your favorite moment, what's like to navigate back to shows, what's been like one of your favorite shows that you guys have performed? It can be in Seattle, it can be like outside the area of, I'm not sure. You guys played a couple of shows outside of Seattle?
I think one of my favorites was early on, and it was we did the album release show for Endorphins Loss at the Highline Bar with Great Falls and was it Black Queen?
Yeah.
That show was
Killer lineup. It was just a lot of fun. There was a lot of energy that night. It was fun. I like playing the Highline too because it sounds so good on stage.
Yeah, that was fun.
Big
I
difference from playing
love
little
the
venues.
Highline, dude.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
Great.
Fantastic bar.
Good fucking vegan bar food.
Oh, yeah.
The food's awesome.
It's insane. Like there's no other vegan food like that I've had that has that really greasy bar sensibility, but is still vegan. Like it's like so good.
Yeah, and their sauces are on point. Their sauces are what makes it. Like their Hail Satan tacos are so good.
Yeah.
The only thing I think is just like there's better of is maybe of the nachos, just because I get where they're coming from, because people do like a style of nacho with just like a drizzle of cheese, but that's not me, man.
I want mine
I'll pay. I'll pay for the extra cheese, man. I know it's vegan and it's a little more spendy, but give me the good stuff.
I feel that.
Yeah, but back to the original question, I think I was going to say Highline as well, but
that was a good one.
I also really enjoyed our album release show at the
Oh, that's
Kraken.
right. That
one was fun.
that got really rowdy.
At Crocodile, it was at
tops.
Crocodile.
Kraken.
Kraken.
Oh, Kraken. Okay.
Yeah.
And it was like there was a lot of people, and it got there
it
was
was
a lot of energy in that room too.
Yeah,
Our friends in Despair were there. Convictions, crazy band. They're really good. If you're not familiar, you should listen to them.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, Great Falls had to cancel last minute. Damien, the singer, was having some health issues,
yeah.
but it was still great.
But the other
show.
guys came out to support us.
Yeah, that was really nice.
I mean, Great Falls was there. They just couldn't play.
Yeah.
Minus Damien. They've been great. They've been great to play with, and they definitely we definitely support what we're doing for each other.
Yeah.
Great
Yeah.
Falls, shouts out.
Yeah. They're an amazing band.
And just speaking on energy, I was doing my homework, listening to another podcast that you were on a while back, and just talking about just like the energy or lack thereof. Sometimes people not really moving at Seattle shows.
Oh yeah.
What's the consistency been like for for that? Is it for that when you guys play shows? Is it just every once in a while there'll be people popping off, or is it mostly just people kind of arms crossed, doing the head nod, judgy, like this is pretty good?
That's pretty standard.
Most of the time, it's like that.
I think one big thing that can happen is if you have someone there that starts getting wild, then everyone else starts feeling like, oh, okay, we can not. So it's kind of like if someone's a catalyst for it, it seems like the room will kind of get going a little bit more. But yeah, we've experienced a lot of still rooms.
I think it also has to do with like the kind of music we play. Like I grew up seeing, Have Heart shows and ceremony shows and Down to Nothing and all those kind of things back when I was a lot younger. And, the song structures of those bands a lot, here's a circle pit. Okay, they're building up into a fat two-step. Everyone starts two-step, and right then it goes into a stomp, and then like crowd killing. Kind of like, I don't think our music kind of
Has that
fits.
structure.
Yeah, it doesn't have that structure sometimes. Like there's definitely the essence is there, but it's not like a Have Heart concert where everyone knows exactly like.
I think it takes time for like getting the lyrics to sink in and like singing along. That's the type of band. Like, I saw, what was it? Modern Life is War played last month at Vera Project, and I was pleasantly surprised by the room and the energy and the people that I saw come out. And there wasn't like, it was just people just climbing on top of each other and singing along. And I think that's kind of the energy I see, the type of vibes that you guys put out with your music of what I would say a proper crowd reaction would look like for your band.
Younger folks seem to go harder these days. So when you're playing a lot of bars, you get that kind of Seattle. It's not like they're not enjoying it, but like Jack says, you have to, you like they want to rage, but they're embarrassed or something. Yeah. So like
I think people are tentative up here. Like,
they're tentative. That's a good way to put it. And as soon as you get a couple dudes that are like pushing you around or whatever, that's when it gets set off and it becomes a lot more fun.
And I recently and just entered my 30s, so I get where that vibe comes from, because where I see myself going to a show, I want the kids to go off, but I want to chill, soak in the music, go hang out with my friends, go get some food between the bands, and just I save my tip money through the week to buy merch from the bands, and I see like that's what a lot of people in like my demographic like to do. We still support. We support them through the music. We'll buy their tapes. We do all that stuff, but for the most part, we're not going too hard. And I see where, like, that's where I've been like, if I ever do music, and I won't be mad if nobody's moving, because that doesn't mean they're not supporting you.
It doesn't mean they're not enjoying it either.
Yeah.
No.
It's and I think that's where, like, I've years ago when you're younger, like, you feel like, oh man, there's a lot of these people that out at this show, but nobody moved, so they must not like us. But then you get off stage and everyone's comes in, they'll buy a tape, they'll tell you it was awesome. I'm like, wow, you liked it because you looked like you were in pain.
Right, that's how I feel.
You looked like you were utterly unimpressed.
Yeah.
like this is how you enjoy music, with this just like this stoned face, like, yeah, I like this. This is good. This is.
You'd never know looking. I promise.
They're more animated afterwards, like, yeah, dude, that was sick, than during.
Yeah, I know.
You're like, oh, okay, I'm really glad, because for a second there, on the chair.
And I've noticed too, like, there's actually 2 times that come to mind that we've played shows, and I like kind of setting off once in a while, and like even for bands that are like totally worth like moving to, like I'll have a few beers and I'll end up start moving and doing my thing, and then I'm just that one asshole like knocking people over and like skanking and stomping, and I'm just like, okay, whatever, fuck you guys.
He's the
man.
gorilla in the pit.
Yeah, he is. He'll just come tearing through the middle of it on occasion. You're like, oh god.
I think it shocks people is what happens.
Yeah.
They're like, oh man, it's a very abrupt way to start it.
Yeah, but and I think that's what this whole topic started. Like that's what I'm used to. Like back home, like that's what.
I think that's a huge part of it. Is you came up and like, it's
Totally different.
It's a
It goes
lot
so much
different up
harder
here
down
than
there.
like California for sure.
And that's I mean that's also what I saw at Modern Life is War. Like it just like a lot of people I haven't seen in a long time just coming in and having a good time, because sometimes it's all about the people like that are doing things, because like it sucks that it has to be like this, because you hear people at shows say anybody can book a show, anybody can send out these like help unify the scene, but sometimes that's not even true. It takes some of those people that people look up to, like, so there's Brainstem Productions in Tacoma. They're doing they at this point they have done Just Another Gig, which is an all-day hardcore festival that's going to be like a thing, like every few months. It's going to be like a 8-hour experience of like a day-long festival of getting as many bands in front of Tacoma and Seattle people as possible, which I think is going to be a really cool thing. But
Flyers, awesome.
Yeah.
What bands playing that show are
there's some
sick.
really fucking good bands
Yeah.
on that bill, and I can't see it not being like consistently a good thing because of the person and people putting it out. Like that person has been able to reach people who have been dormant in the scene for years, and he's been able to rise and wake all the scene sleepers and bring them out. And like it takes those certain people to actually put out those vibes, get the energy going, put that back in the room. Like people say anybody can do it, and it's true, but like there are those certain people that can only reach certain people.
Yeah, that's all who you know.
Yeah.
And it's basically like it takes effort. Like you have to put effort into it.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of people don't realize that if you want to keep a scene alive and if you want to keep working on it, it's work. It's an effort that you have to put in.
Dude, just doing this show alone, it gets tiring.
I'm sure.
I'm like, I do it all by myself. And one year I was like, I still put on a show, and I like weekly while I was like almost homeless. Like, so it gets like, I get why someone wants to take a break. That year, like when I was getting my shit together, I took probably 2 months worth of time off to get my shit together so I can put on the show as it is right now. So like it's rough, and like going back to Seattle, this city does not make it easy. It does not make it easy to put on shows, to find a place to do it, to get people out. Like all my friends who used to go to shows are not going to are not going to shows because they don't want to. It's because they're working their asses off to pay their rent and keep in their apartments.
Yeah.
With the cost of living, with the end of like a lot of things that have happened in Seattle, the cost of living has crippled Seattle music in a way.
Never thought of it like that.
Well, yeah, everyone's got like 2 or 3 jobs, and
Yeah.
then you're dead tired. Even if you have the day off to go, you're like, no, I'm gonna sleep or run my errands, or I feel it.
And a lot of my friends, like the friends who do music or attend shows, work in like the service industry and work in like I do security. A lot of them either do security or work at a bar or a venue, and
Working late night weekends.
yeah, working their asses off, or they're working fucking soul crushing warehouse jobs. Like,
Yeah, even Ryan from Pound, he has to play shows during the week because he's doing his radio gigs on the weekend. So if we play a show with Pound, it's during the week.
yeah,
He
which
doesn't
is
do
fine
weekend shows.
because he like that's another person who has that energy. Like, because I also work with David. I think it's David. Yeah, the drummer of Pound.
Yeah.
Of Pound. He works at a local pizza joint that
Big Mario's, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
that
Oh yeah, that place is delicious.
I run door at on the weekends, and he it's rough putting it together, but like talking about like them still making it work, that's the type of energy we need. Like they did I believe they did like a tour kickoff that had in the middle of a week that had over like 150 people show up.
Yeah, we played
Was that?
that.
Yeah, we played that.
That's
Stumpfest.
Stumpfest
Yeah.
Yeah,
at
Yeah,
Substation.
it was like a Wednesday. It was crazy.
it was
Yeah.
great too. It was,
It was
a lot
fun.
of fun.
Yeah,
We're actually playing with them this coming Wednesday
in Tacoma.
at the Plaid Pig.
Yeah.
Yeah, that should be a good show.
That's why, and like, yeah, no, I'm all about, and that's what I'm talking about. You guys cannot be further apart in sound, but but you guys have that that same intent, that same like energy that you're putting out for music in your area that connects people.
Right.
Yeah, I get that.
So, and that's what I'm trying to do. So, my last bit, we've talked a lot about music in Seattle, and I just want to fucking talk about some nerd shit for a minute before we get out of here. We were talking about fucking Star Wars, and I just want to get some shit off my chest now that I've finally seen Rise of Skywalker last week.
Yep.
How was it?
Here's what I think. I think that if you spend your life criticizing every part of Star Wars because it's not something that you grew up with, or it's not the same Star Wars you grew up with or read or whatever, and you're just dedicating your time, you should just go find something you like. Go fucking like. Do you really want to fucking like go like have this be your life till you die? Come, like, I see people, and there are people that I used to work with in radio, just shit all over fucking Star Wars, not give any little part, not even like the parts that are cool about, like, I don't care if you completely hate it, you can at least find one thing that you like out of Star Wars, but you won't even let yourself like it because you want to dedicate your life to just crushing it. It is what it is. Disney did it. It's out there. It's in the world, and there's nothing you can do if you really want to. Start doing what The Mandalorian did and make a fucking great ass show. Like, if you want to put that, put that fucking Star Wars energy out in the world. Fucking be creative and do it. Stop shitting on fucking Star Wars.
Yeah, The Mandalorian was great.
Yeah.
Mandalorian was great. Here's what I think of the Rise of Skywalker. It is extremely fucking hard to like pick up where what is the last, what's the
Return of the Jedi.
not Return of the Last Jedi. It's hard to cover up what the damage that was done in the Last Jedi. It's so hard, but they did the best they could. I think they should have just I don't think there was any reason to try to keep with with how they did different directors for each one. Like I know they did that with the original trilogy, but they pulled a fucking rabbit out of the hat with the original
Right.
trilogy with 4, 5, and 6. Like they also did it at a time where there was nothing like that. We're in a time where it's nerd fucking overload, man. There's so many good Marvel movies. There's so much good nerd shit out in the world. We have so many good. And if you don't, there's still people making awesome comics too, like that you can absorb.
Did you like it? Did you like Rise of the you didn't necessarily say you loved it or liked it.
See, this is, and I'm going to go off on another tangent because this is what Star Wars fans do. Because my girlfriend got so pissed at me. Yesterday we were watching through some she wanted to start watching everything from episode 1 onward.
in order.
So she wanted me to explain things to her. And then I did exactly what I just did there. I she wanted a simple yes or no answer. I was like, I can't give you a simple So she was like, wait, so is that Queen Amidala? I was like, technically, and I was like, wait, is that that's Palpatine, right? He's the bad guy. I was like, not yet. And she was getting so mad that I couldn't give that. She's like, I'm just looking for a yes or no answer. So here's what I always, and I'll have to watch it again on Blu-ray because I always enjoy a theater experience with Star Wars because it always gives
Just movies like
It looks
that.
so good.
Yeah.
it always gives when at the end when all the good guys show up, that gave me a fucking, when Lando and everything, there's spoilers in here, so if you fuck off if you haven't already seen it. Fuck off. When Lando and everyone showed up, that I got chills. I loved
Fat Star Wars boner.
I loved that part. I hugged my girlfriend. It was just a great moment. That's
sick.
Just with this new trilogy, there was parts in every movie that I did like. I think after just absorbing it, this might still, I think I like it the most out of the 3, in my opinion.
Out of the new ones, you mean?
Yes, out of the new ones.
That's cool. I read the leak of before it came out. I read the leak of just the whole plot.
There's just nothing. It's just.
It sounded just Hollywood, but it's Hollywood. It's Disney, but that doesn't mean it's gonna suck inherently.
Yeah, I was reading about people walking out of the theater. I was
Get the fuck over it.
It was
man.
and so I went
Come
into it
on.
oh no, are they actually really gonna do that?
And then
bad?
J.J. Abrams
And then it was done. And I was
issued
oh,
an
it was-
apology. Fuck off. You nerds can fuck off, man. Get over it. There are other things you can like
Yeah.
It's true.
out there. There's other.
Yeah, go watch The Witcher instead. It was all right.
Yeah,
You watched The Witcher?
I like The
guys?
Witcher. It was rad.
I knew when I saw that hunchback chick, I was like, oh, she's hot. I know she's hot. You're
was
lying to
crazy.
me.
Piglet.
It looked like she was sucking on a lollipop with her cheeks sticking out. I was like, oh, she's hot. And then a couple episode later,
Dude.
I told you. She's totally hot.
I also don't. I hate what the reaction of the last Jedi did to Solo, because Solo was actually a very good movie. I enjoyed Solo.
I never saw that one.
I didn't see
It was
Solo.
100.
It was
It's,
pretty good. Yeah, I liked it.
I think it got it.
It was Pedro Pascal.
Yeah.
He was the guy in Solo as well, right?
Yeah, he
He's
got
the
buried.
one playing Mandalorian now.
Yeah, it got buried with all the shit storm that the Last Jedi brought.
Yeah.
I heard it was bad.
What, The Last Jedi?
Solo.
No,
Solo.
the Solo, the Han Solo one.
I
okay.
liked it. I liked what I liked the style of movie it was. I don't think there's anything
I feel like Star Wars fans love to hate Star Wars now.
It's such a big universe now that
They're like
it's,
Tool fans.
you can't help it,
Kind of,
dude.
yeah. It's going to be so impossibly hard to impress them. Like,
Yeah, it's impossible.
Yeah.
especially if you grew up watching the originals. It's like they're not going to be able to do that
Yeah.
for you again. Like,
Like,
it blew your mind. And
Oh,
that's it.
fuck Tool and that fucking elevator music style fucking piece of shit prog
Tell us how
new
you feel.
metal
Tell us how you
hybrid
feel.
bullshit. I liked Tool growing up, but that thing that they put out recently was just
I have
what
come
the fuck?
I have come to the conclusion.
10-minute
do
build
not
up to
like it.
nothing. 10-minute build up to nothing.
10-year build up to nothing.
No, I'm talking about that first single.
Yeah, I
the first single.
Fear Inoculum.
Yeah, I know. I didn't
listen.
listen to the rest of the record because that's all I needed to know.
There's some good songs.
Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah,
I mean, but
fuck
like,
it. Dude, I love how the first part of this interview was very slow and just very NPR, and now I've just
get into the nitty gritty.
Yeah.
yeah, we're really getting into it. But you know, I like Star Wars for what it is. There's nothing you can do anymore. It's just
Right.
it's gonna happen. There's gonna be bad and good. It's just like Marvel with Captain Marvel. It was whatever. It was
Captain Marvel was garbage, though. Come on, listen.
okay. It's here's
dude.
here's the thing.
Get outta here.
Here's the thing. It's just like Star Wars and Captain. It's not as fucking bad as everybody says it is. It's not good, but
Yeah.
it's not as fuck. Everybody wants to just.
The bar is high, man. The bar is high.
It's
think
just
they
filler.
they need to just bury it. And
It
People
is
like
what it-
shitting on things, too.
It
It's
is
more
what-
fun to shit on things.
yeah.
than
It's
it is
super
to-
fun to shit on things.
I'm just over it. I'm gonna shit on the people shitting on things.
There you go.
I'm gonna be on top of you. You're gonna be shitting, and then I'm gonna be on top of you shitting on you.
That's a lot of shit.
I'm gonna shit on your shit.
Because there's so much room for other positive things. You're just wasting your time shitting on more shit.
Yeah, we just need new content.
Yeah.
Like, just drop it. Do Dune or like do something
Yeah.
sci-fi cool. That there's so much cool sci-fi stuff out there,
Yeah.
and like fantasy as well. It's like, oh, they messed up Game of Thrones. There's like a million other fantasy things. They
I'm
could
over it.
create.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay. Just bury it.
I'm just glad I didn't. I'm glad I didn't pay for the HBO subscription to watch that last season of Game of Thrones.
I
It was pretty
allegedly downloaded it.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, it has not been proven in court.
You spelled illegally wrong.
No. Allegedly.
That's ignorant.
You're ignorant. You don't know the internets and the interwebs. I got a Russian VPN.
Okay, so let's reel it back in. Let's talk about the band real quick and let's give out all the info that you would like people to know about City of Industry and how to keep up with you, keep in contact, and tell us any. This podcast will come out after the Plaid Pig show. So anything else that you have after that too.
Okay.
So
When is it coming out?
it's coming out like a few days after.
Okay,
after
it's like
the Plaid
next
Pig.
weekend.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we have a show in Port Angeles, January 25th. It's our first time out there. We're playing with Portland grime band Transient, local Seattle band Impulse Noise, some other local Prolapser, and Trashfecta. They're all kind of like, I think, they're all from out there, an area I don't know. But other than that, we don't really have too many shows planned yet. We have a split that we're going to start recording, a full length in the works. We're working up to a pretty big end of the year and even bigger 2021. We have a lot of stuff we're starting now for next year and stuff like that.
A lot of things cooking.
Getting
Yeah.
that shit ready.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And also, we do have a lot of merch available.
Yeah, our Bandcamp, it's cityofindustry.bandcamp.com, I believe it is. We have shirts, we have long sleeve, short sleeves, patches. We have multiple variant color of our vinyl of our last 12-inch Conspire. Always have a lot of merch at shows too, so come out.
Check us out. Also, Osa, he does all the artwork, all the concepts for all the merch. It's all done in house. So
Shout outs.
shouts out Osa.
Real fucking DIY shit.
And they look badass.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I love them.
Well, thank you for having us, Trevor.
Absolutely.
This has been
Yeah, man, it
awesome.
was a good time.
Appreciate it.
So did we talk about all the things to keep up on?
I
the
think
social
there's
medias?
a couple more
We have-
Star Wars things. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
You really want to go there?
No. Give us a final plug.
We're on Instagram, City of Industry HC. On Instagram at City of Industry HC. The HC stands for hardcore. Same thing on same thing on Facebook.
You
City of
sounded
Industry.
so scared.
Should be scared.
Facebook, same City of Industry HC. You could keep up. We always post what's going on ahead of time. Post new merch. We have a new shirt dropping this week too. That I'll let you. Or actually, I just posted that last night. Never
Yeah,
mind.
you just posted it. I
Yeah,
saw that shit.
yeah, so
It's dope.
That's live. Thank you.
And streaming, we got
Yeah,
all
we're
our
everywhere.
stuff streaming
Spotify.
everywhere.
everywhere.
Whatever you have, we're on there. It's ever
Yep.
Tidal. Because fuck Tidal, man. No one's
Except
on
what?
there. Tidal.
Does that shit still exist?
Dude, Jay-Z is on Spotify now.
Yeah, well,
And everyone else that was exclusive to Tidal, it's been 10 years, so they're all on Spotify now. So I don't even know. A Tidal's going to go away. I mean,
Tidal-
even Jay-Z knows it's going to go away.
that's so sad. Like, what's the point? There was no point for
It was
that.
the dumbest business move ever.
Man.
Stupid Jay-Z.
You know, Jay-Z's no
motherfucker.
Jay-Z's no Kanye.
Oh, you want to talk about geniuses now? Oh,
Don't get him
Man,
started.
we man, I should have just wrote down a couple names and just random Star Wars,
random
Kanye,
pop culture shit.
Jay-Z. And
Oh,
that's-
you gonna get me started?
All bad.
fuck. Okay, so we're gonna be playing. You guys are gonna play 3 songs for us. What are they? Tell us a little bit about them before we get started on them.
The first one's called Animal Farm. The second one is Spite Me, and the last one is called As the Moon Follows. They're all pretty different musically and lyrically as well.
Dope. If that's all you want to say,
Uh,
anything you want to say?
Yeah.
Um,
A little taste of the lyrics.
Animal Farm. The farm is spelled with a PH. It's kind of about street drugs as well as big pharmaceutical drugs. All of our lyrics on Bandcamp, you could explore them more. But we all have people who have either died or are addicted to, whether it be heroin, meth, Prozac, things like
Pills.
that. Yeah, pills. So it's it's something that's hits home for me. So that's that one. Spite Me is kind of just like exactly what a lot of self-deprecation. I think everyone's really sensitive nowadays, and the song's just like basically just please spite me. Like I don't care.
Get the fuck over it.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck
off.
Yeah,
Fuck
exactly.
It's 2020. There's gonna be some bad shit happening, and you just get over it.
Yeah, people
Yeah.
people are too sensitive.
That's
I
the
feel.
world. It sucks.
Bunch
Yeah.
of Nancy's.
Yeah.
What about As the Moon Follows? What about As the Moon Follows?
As the moon follows, as the moon follows, that one's kind of like that was more of a kind of a lyrically theatrical one. It's poetry, bro.
It's poetry.
There we go.
It's
Yeah.
poetry.
I'm not going to get into that one.
All right.
It's art, Mom. You wouldn't
So
understand.
all right, we're gonna play some songs live here on Dead Air in the lovely Tacoma studios of NWCZ right now.
face when he dies. Nothing can light, I'm gathering nothing. But I'm living for something. Go! I never trapped it with my arms. So that walk, so getting your phone. Give me your time within your go. And now I've known you, guess I welcome. That's what they're hearing in your room. Welcome in your reason, what quiet right. When the sun sets, my pain is the sky. In my rage of food, just turn this back on. You roll it back for me. I lay there and cry. For I knew that I was dead. Thinking with my brothers and dreams. So it seems that the road follows me. My life is like a magazine. I'm confused as I was. I'm confused as I was. I was fooled into thinking that this faded world unhypnotic was where I was. Because at the end of the truth, so it still seems that to move on with me.
What's up, motherfuckers? This is Deadair Moshot telling you to check out the brand new Deadair website now. Go to deadairhardcoreradio.com for all podcasted shows as well as news, reviews, and content you can't get anywhere else. Go now or feel the wrath of my cold, hard robotic leg spin kicking you straight in the face.
Stand up for what is right, or sit back and let the world decide. Single gang or shameless, black with you and not me. Black will hand it to me. suffer up through atrocity. You are dead to me. Lash out every time that I see thee. Sick reflection, he got it in for me. One stone killed two birds of an over catastrophe. Climb on against all of this humanity. But don't worry, I dug two holes this time. One stone killed two birds. One stone killed two birds. One stone killed two birds. To a foul indignity. You are dead to me. I'm putting into this gruesome impermanently. Gruesome impermanently. Gruesome impermanently.
All right, we're back. Shout out to City of Industry. Some really fun, cool ass dudes from Seattle. It's awesome having people up in the studio and doing their thing and fucking rocking out. And I was just talking to the band a little bit off air when we ended it about just how I have not on Deadair really, or I've had in my past, just people that I could not, even with the best of my abilities at recording live sound, which is, I am not the best. I just literally do what I can. I've learned by sight, and just to figure it out, I'm in no way, shape, or form a professional. I just know how to mic, set up some DIs, and hope for the fucking best, and try to keep my ear on the levels. I know there's plenty of people, but there's been some times where I've had some bands that just fucking ruin everything, where I'm doing everything I can, but I can't make them sound good if they're just not gonna be good and have out-of-tune guitars. And I was talking about a crusty band a crust punk band that I recorded about, I think, sometime middle of last year. It was just not good, and I don't feel bad because I probably aren't listening to this show at all. So it is what it is. So Anyway, so trying to see where I was going with that, but yeah, shout outs to City of Industry. They have some new merch. They have their full length. They gave me a LP. It's really cool looking, and you should buy that shit if you liked what you heard today. So I felt like I had a lot more to say. I was thinking about, I was like, I had a lot more to say because of Star Wars, but I think my rant pretty much just summed it up. Like, if you spend most of your time like talking shit on Star Wars, there's just nothing you can do. Oh, here's my fucking point. My point actually was going to be when they made the remakes in 1997, that's when Star Wars started getting dicey. Actually, Star Wars has been getting dicey since the holiday special and beyond. They've been making they did amazing with the first 3 movies, and though, some people didn't like Empire Strikes Back, it is what it is. They still, like, you can't deny the power of all of those movies. And if you do, then it is what it fucking is, and I don't need to fucking talk to you. But ever since the holiday special, they did. I knew they did one Ewok movie, but I found out recently that they've done 2 Ewok movies and have been trying to hide it for a very long time. And I remember seeing the Ewok movie, and I feel like Lucasfilm somehow infiltrated my mind and tried to purge it out, and that to get the thought of that it was just an illusion and I never saw no fucking Ewok movie. And then I think it's just like a couple years ago when I'm just trying to figure out what's going on in the Star Wars universe since, Disney took over, and I was like, oh shit, that Ewok movie exists. Not only is there one though, there's 2. I don't think I've seen the second. That's just fucking wild, dude. Like, the creatures that they have are weird. It's more like fantasy, like kind of Lord of the Ringsy type shit than actual Star Wars, which is so weird and just like out of place. Doesn't make any sense. Some of the things that I see in that movie, but there's been risky moves ever since. So you just gotta fucking take it or leave it. It's never gonna there's gonna be some good shit and bad shit, and move on. There's other fucking cool shit to watch. That's what I said earlier, and I think that's pretty much sums up anything I want to say. So to music, let's go to music. After our live set, we started off with a band. I believe it's new to me. Came out, it was released on December 29th, right before the turn of the year. A band called Final Declaration from Buffalo, New York. I haven't got to listen to the full 8-track of this record, which is titled The Line in the Sand. But the track that we listened to, World's Decision / Nothing But Pain, is hopefully a good telltale sign that it's going to be a mosher. And I have no problem with a full fucking crowd chant style song. That shit is fucking fun. That is what attracted me to hardcore. It's like especially with some of these hardcore vocalists, like with until you get into some better production too. Like I think it just sounds better sometimes. And for mosh songs, it fills out the sound for some of them. I don't want to hear, obviously, I don't want to fucking hear breakdown and crowd chant the entire time, but I think there hasn't been enough of it or much of it to where this was refreshing. This was mixed by Taylor Young and mastered by Will Killingsworth, which is obvious. That's a fucking good that's a good pair. Mostly everything I fucking see these days is mastered by Will, and a lot of the heavy shit, of course, is recorded at the Pit. So if it's recorded in the pit, it's probably fucking good. So Final Declaration, I need to check out more of it. It's definitely Crowd Tramp, Mosh Warrior style, heavy hardcore. Followed that with new music from True Form. They opened up at FYA this last weekend. They're from Florida. They have a release on IOU Records, which is a record label. I will be honest, I don't know anything about it. I don't know if there's anything I know from this record label, but there is. Looks like Be All End All was on here. Oh, Big Mac was on here. All right, there's a few things. There's a few things on here. Okay, that I am a lot of Big Mac. Yeah, so this is a label that I had not been introduced to until right now. Oversight and Second Sight was on here too. Okay. So, yeah, IOU Records, something I'm going to have to check out. Another moshier band that kind of misses with the, a little bit of the Killing Time style thrash. I would say I hear some Killing Time in this band with some New York hardcore and some thrash hardcore, thrown into the mix. Something I want to hear more. Like Florida always has, no matter what, and if it's more the punkier or there's something, it's always aggressive. No matter, there's not too many bright style bands that I hear from Florida, and they always usually kick your ass, no matter what vein they're coming from in the world of hardcore. So following that up to some more heavy shit, we played their track. We played one of their singles a few months back, and we did play the latest single from Skin Ticket. I'm thinking that this is going to lead to at least an EP of some sort. Heavy Arizona hardcore. Currently, that's all I know from as far as Arizona hardcore. It's very heavy, metallic, or beatdown infused music, which this new single Soil X grabs from both of those. So check it out if it's something you're into. Following that, we have something sent to me from New Age Records, the newest from Dear Furious. Looks like it's time stamped from early December. So check that out. It's a two song titled One Stone, Two Birds. I think it's just the catalog of people in it can kind of speak to the sound, because it you can hear a little bit of all of these bands. It has members of the following. It has members of Chorus of Disapproval, A18, Outspoken, Strife, Adamantium, Throwdown, and Mean Season. So you can hear a lot of that specific late 90s, and a little bit of early 2000s hardcore, heavier hardcore, but has kind of a slower, head noddier sensibility in there. Like it'll take the metallic, but definitely slow that shit down a few pegs. And some of it, and for me, I do like this. Some of it I don't. Some of it I do. It just really depends on the structure of the song and where it's placed, and it's all in the arrangement, because sometimes that just like dun 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 style stuff where it just kind of slows down, but it is still fucking heavy. It sometimes gets lost on me. But check it out. New Age Records, new Dear Furious. Followed, we ended that set with some submission from Pink Guitars. We had them 2 months ago, something like that. Band from Buffalo, New York. The first record had a very more like Ian Kai, Minor Threat, style thing going on with their, with the vocals. This one is a little bit more straightforward. I could speak to a ton of just like any straightforward, punk hardcore fast fucking band. I can't put a finger on it right now, but it's I could say a little fast like Negative Approach. I could say a little bit like Black Flag, but there's so many vocal. It's a little bit faster, a little bit more aggressive, and not as there's. They had a little bit of the singy style stuff in the first one that they sent me, but this one definitely is more straightforward. So if you like that fast punk shit, check out their newest release titled We Are Made of the Sun. Pink Guitars from Buffalo, another band from Buffalo, New York. So now we're going to play some new music from Tacoma, Washington. It's up. We have a quick review on Deadair Hardcore Radio. .com and check it out. I put in some work over the break since I wasn't able to do a show. I put in a few articles for the end of the year and the end of the decade, one that seemed to go over pretty well. A year in decade in Northwest Hardcore, which was just kind of my little. It was a little snapshot in time of all the bands that I got to see, bands that maybe no one has ever heard of or have forgotten. So check it out. You might find some new music. I've had a few people message me and tell me that they found some new music from this article. So go to deadairhardcoreradio.com for that. And then I had a decade list as well on our Facebook, facebook.com/deadairhardcoreradio. We also made a little picture list of all the releases that I enjoyed that we got to play in 2019. So you can check that out there as well. So Trapped by Lies, we will be having them in the studio within the next 1 to 2 episodes. But I've talked a lot about them, how there's been just a huge progression, and it's always cool to see young musicians who are very proficient with their music just keep getting better and better. And you can definitely hear it in this latest release titled Demons. They had a November promo 19, and now they have their EP Demons. We're going to play a track featuring Casey, who was previous in The Scare. Also, he's an Instant Death, who I haven't heard too much of, because Casey also plays in Odd Man Out, which toured heavily in 2019 to be specific. So it's cool to hear his voice on some new music, and these are some cool new tracks. Heavy, some of them are heavy, some of them are a little faster and thrashy, but overall hardcore. Trapped by Lies, we're going to talk to him a little bit, like I said, in another episode, so I'll save any more talk for that. We're going to hit that, and then we have some more songs before we finish out this first episode of the year. We'll be back. You'll listen to Dead Air Tours of Hardcore Radio.
It's winning my life. I'd rather die than escape. I can't get away. Nothing's dead the same way. Taking my time. I won't forget. My only weakness is your death. Not sorry.
what kind of emotions you got going through you right now.
I'll tell you what, I gave up on love and happiness a long time ago.
What's up, you sorry motherfuckers? This is another Moshbot reminder to follow Deadair on Facebook at facebook.com/DeadairHardcoreRadio and both Instagram and Twitter at Deadair76. Do it before I crowd kill your entire fucking family while whining about people not supporting the scene enough.
Come on, come closer to me and don't be a coward. I don't want a coward in the family. Yes, I want you to win and don't be a coward. Don't be a... You're not gonna... My son is not gonna be a coward.
used to be. I'm forever grateful for the love you've given me. So many times you brought hell to this earth. Deep within I know hell is not what you deserve. Oh. Kiss the cross for the last time. Hear the cry of the bells toll. Love forgiven for all his sins and save his soul. Oh. Down, it's the coffin. A quick look to the sky. I hope you found your peace. This is my final goodbye. See you when I die, die, die. collapse instead. I'll tie the noose around my neck. The reaper comes to collapse instead. Welcome to the wrong side. Every case do or die.
Enjoying this futuristic music from the distant future of 1975 with some Kraftwerk. Since we're in this new century, I thought we would, or a new decade, new century. What the fuck am I talking about? Now that we're in this new decade, I thought we would have some, futuristic music today. I feel stupid. It's been a fucking long time because I just don't give a shit. That I just I need to get people who I know are just like Trumpy shit talkers off my feed, and then I just like there's some people who I've just let stay because it's fun to fuck with them, and then it just I realized I'm 30 and it's not fun. I used to get into stupid, fights and just fuck with people, and it's no longer. It's just nobody wins. We both lose. Doesn't matter who has the intellectual high ground. We're both losing because we're participating in something that does not bring any change. So I just fuck. I feel just as stupid as the stupid person in this conversation. And there's stuff about the impending or possible Iran war. And I haven't been doing any of that type of shit since, everybody kind of initially started just getting at each other when Trump got elected. But, whatever. Getting real at a low point for our 2020 episode. Hopefully we make it to 2030, I guess. We got a long stretch to go for that. Lots of as you have heard, even from the times that I've start from the beginning, if you've listened to any episodes of Deadair, things change fucking fast. There's bands that I've had on just within the last 2 years that have blown the fuck up, just been in the studio or I've talked to, who some of them probably won't even talk to me again, or which is it is what it is. My show is very whatever. I'm that is my confidence behind my product. I do really love what I do, but I will always, even if when we're doing at our best, there will always be room to grow. And hopefully we can grow more over the next 1 to 5 to even 10 years. If I get the chance to even still be on that long. So let's go into that music. Start off that shit with Porcupine. They have a split with Prowns. Believe that's how you say it. Came out right at the end of December. New Morality Zine helped put this out. Played the first track, Fawn, which is melodic at times, post-hardcore-y, a little chaotic and noisy. Definitely a heavy driving song with some interesting stuff going on that is unlike anything that I'm hearing currently for hardcore. Also, the name kind of throws you off when I see the artwork Porcupine. I'm thinking, if anything, it's something fucking hardcore adjacent, either screamo, some sort of emo, or could be a title fighty style band. It was not what I was expecting when I heard this. The melodic, at least there was some melodic and interesting stuff that still kind of goes with the name and it would have been weird to see the artwork and have a straight up fucking like Youth Crew or New York hardcore band style thing going on. That would have thrown me the fuck off. But the music's kind of on point with once you listen to it with the artwork, which is just the simple it's a picture and the name. It's very standard and a thing that people were doing like a lot in the middle of of the last decade, but I think it fell off. It was like any fucking screamo, emo revival, pop punk, and whatever style band was doing title random picture, and that was the artwork. At one point I wanted to do that because it just seemed so simple and it looked clean and good. So moving on to that, we got some fucking straight edge. Oh, where was Porcupine from Chicago, Illinois, on New Morality Zine. Moving on to Standalone from New York. Don't know exactly where New York, but to me it's all the same because I've never fucking been to New York. Standalone straight edge band, has a promo 2019. They have a cover of Carry On, X's Always Win, so you can kind of already, if you know the Carry On, you can kind of envision what the rest of the other songs will sound like. We played what did we play? We played Take Control. Followed that, we have a band called Mind Prison, which is a heavier metallic hardcore band from Serbia. They have a song, a single called Final Goodbye. I don't know if that means that they're fucking breaking up. The last lyric is "See you when I die," so I don't know what that exactly entails because they only have one 2018 release and then followed up with this song. So sometimes that can mean that they're fucking done because I always find it weird. I don't think this is what they're doing, but when bands want to, do like if they do a final song or a final show after like being a band for a year, that's still that stuff confuses the crap out of me. Like I see bands that I've done, I was like, you guys haven't done that much. Anyway, moving on, some more New York hardcore style music from Detroit, Michigan. We got Hushed. God damn it. My music, of course, in the new year is gonna fuck up on me. That's a staple part of this show. The song's called from Hushed. It's called "Welcome to the Wrong Side." Like I said, that sounds like a fucking New York hardcore style fucking shit with the little Detroitian here. They did a cover of "Ready to Fight" by Negative Approach. I really like the vocal styling. I'll have to re-listen to some of the rest, but like as far as the vocals fit really well for the Negative Approach cover and sound pretty cool. Before that, we had another crossover thrash band called Becoming from Belgium. We played their song Blade of Wrath. And then, like I said, Hushed, Welcome to the Wrong Side. And then we ended the set with Payback XXX with One Scene Unity. And this might be my favorite Payback. And favorite version of favorite, because there's like 3 different Paybacks. So One Scene Unity. They also played FYA. And we're going to finish it off because we got to get the fuck out of here because we're out of time. Facewreck. We're going to end it with some fucking new metal shit. This shit sounds like Static X. Sounds like it should be at Ozfest. It's called 2020 Single Yo. And it's called, they have 2 songs, Losing My Cool and Hypocrite, where you play Losing My Cool. They have a video for it. And like I said, it just looks like it literally was the first new metal song on sometime in the year 2000. And I love it. I love what Facewreck does. It's fun. I wonder if there's a fucking I feel like people who I don't think there'll ever be a Facewreck tsunami beef, but that should probably stay separate because I don't know, the way they do their music is different than the way I don't think Tsunami will ever do a fucking new metal thing like Facewreck. I like both those bands with their energies separate, but I dig what they're doing with this energy. So thank you for listening. Shout out to City of Industry, and shout out to all y'all. We're gonna have a good year, good decade, and I'll see you next week.
Here we go! First work! Come on! What you got? Now I'm losing my control, 'cause I'm dealing with you, trying not to stop basic control.